Well, I think it's safe to say that the footage that I'm going to show you here, in my mind at least, and I think it will be for you guys too, is undeniable. And when I say undeniable, I mean that in terms of our long-held beliefs that have been based on many pieces of evidence in the past that space is not only inhabited by our spacecraft, and when I say our spacecraft, I mean our space shuttles, the International Space Station, our satellites, and things like that. But for the first time, I do believe that we have some undeniable footage here that will prove that there are unknown manned objects flying out there in space, maneuvering as if someone is piloting these objects. I'm not talking about ice crystals. I'm not talking about space debris. I'm not talking about any of the usual go-to excuses that are pointed out either by NASA or skeptics or people who just refuse to look at the evidence. So this piece of footage here, a specific piece of footage, is part of a bigger video, and it features various clips of the International Space Station, video footage captured from inside of the space station, various astronauts showing you how things work, where this female astronaut here, who by the way is Samantha Cristoforetti, who is an Italian European Space Agency astronaut, as she is sitting here by one of the space station windows, showing you how the screen works, how there's an outer screen, sort of like a door or a hatch, that you can open and close in order to block out the sunlight or just close the window. And so I was getting a ton of people saying, Tyler, there is a point in this video where moments after she opens up this window hatch, there are multiple UFOs that can be seen speeding by. So I said, okay, I'm going to take a closer look at this. I blew it up to full screen, made sure I was watching it in 1080p, highest resolution, and sure enough, I witnessed the same thing that you are about to witness here. So without further ado, I will go ahead and play this clip. And I'm just going to play you this small little portion where two UFOs actually appear. The first one passes by very quickly. However, you will see a second one moving up from the bottom right-hand part of the screen, right here where I'm circling, that will fly up, it will stop, and then it will make a sharp left-hand turn before finally flying behind the window and disappearing. So again, keep your eyes down here in the lower right portion of the screen and watch this in full screen or watch it on your TV if you have to. But we're going to come back and I'm going to blow this up for you. I'm going to show you exactly what's going on in this piece of footage. So check this out. Alright, so did you guys see it? Well, if you didn't, let's go step by step. We'll slow this thing down, we'll blow it up, and I'm going to show you exactly what has just been recorded passing by outside of the International Space Station. So let's go with the very first UFO. Alright, this is an unidentified object, which again can be seen changing directions. Here we are zoomed in, and I'm going to play this slowed down. And I want you to keep your eye right in this general area here, just to the right of this solar panel. There it is, flies back behind the panel, and it's gone. So let's play that again even slower and even closer. Here we are. There's the object, goes behind the panel, comes back out, and it's gone at an incredible rate of speed. So let's loop this over at regular speed a few times. Alright, so you can clearly see this thing making a left turn. You can see it shift its trajectory. And so that was the first one, alright? Nothing too spectacular. We only see it for a few seconds. So this UFO here, it's a little bit more vague. Could maybe be an ice crystal. Could maybe debris of some sort. But then, just after this object passes by, immediately after, we see the smoking gun UFO, in my opinion. And so let's go ahead and play this clip over showing the second UFO appearing from the bottom right of the screen, flies up toward the middle of the screen, slows down damn near to a stop, and then makes a sharp left-hand turn, blasting off into space. Here we go. Goes back to the astronaut talking, and I'm not sure if that camera pan was on purpose or not, but let's play this again, slow down, we're going to zoom in on the object. Here it comes. There it is. You guys can see it moving up, goes back behind, slows down for a moment, changes position, makes a left-hand turn, increases its speed, and you can actually see just before the camera pans away, the object appears again to change direction and begin heading south. So let's play it again. They're going behind the solar panels, they're in the distance, they're turning, they're slowing down, they're increasing speed. This is, without a doubt, a piloted object. And let's play it at regular speed here. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Is that not amazing? And we have two UFOs here, both coming from the same direction. Are seen maneuvering, changing speed, velocity, and directions. Multiple times, in fact, especially the second UFO. And, you know, like I said, you guys tell me. Give me an explanation. Because as far as I can tell, I've never seen a satellite, piece of space junk, or dust, or ice crystals act in such a way. And we've proven this time and time again with all of the pieces of footage we've shown. This isn't the first time we've seen these objects change their trajectories and their speeds, operating just like you would see fighter jets here on Earth. And so I guess the big question is, who is piloting them? And you know, you see this astronaut who's recording this video, acting oblivious to it, and I'm not sure if this camera pan is on purpose or not, but with all of the activity that we've seen recorded on these ISS video cameras, there's no way in hell that these astronauts on the ISS are not witnessing these things flying by. There's no way. And you know, this reminds me of a video I posted a while back about an astronaut by the name of Tom Jones. And you guys may remember that video. It was actually a rant of mine that I think I put out maybe a year or more ago. But basically, in a nutshell, someone sent me this article where this NASA astronaut, a former astronaut who had been in space many times, basically came out of nowhere. He just kind of appeared, and he started doing interviews where he was basically hating on the field of ufology and UFO researchers in general. And people were pointing this out to me and saying, Tyler, don't you think it's kind of strange that this astronaut is suddenly coming out against UFOs and is really saying some damaging stuff? For instance, here you're seeing a Huffington Post article with a title that says, ex-NASA astronaut Tom Jones, quote, used to be a big UFO fan, not now. And it's followed up with another quote from him that says, I haven't seen the proof that would satisfy me that there's really something there. And I'll post a link to this article. You know, I don't know. There's just something about this Tom Jones guy. There's something about him. I don't know if he's being forced to come out and downplay the UFO phenomenon and the research and the people who do it, or if he's being paid. I don't know what, but something is off about this guy. And so in the article, he basically goes on to state that ufology is a joke, that he has never, ever seen any evidence of UFO activity during any of the missions that he flew in space. And I'll actually read you a quote here from the article, where he very boldly, apparently speaking on behalf of every single astronaut who's ever been to space, says, quote, astronauts have not seen any evidence of alien life. Reports of unidentified flying objects in images returned from the shuttle or space station have turned out to be ice crystals, drifting orbital debris, lightning flashes, or meteors streaking through the dark atmosphere below. Now, where have we heard that before? So far, our search for extraterrestrial life and other civilizations in space has turned up no proof of alien civilizations. So now, this guy is speaking for all astronauts, apparently. including the Apollo astronauts who actually walked on the moon, many of which who have come out and expressed their belief in UFOs and have spoken about their sightings while in space. And of course, Mr. Jones has something to say about them as well, later in the article stating, quote, "Now, I'm aware that there have been a couple of astronauts in the past who have spoken out and said they know from other people that there's evidence of UFOs and spaceships that have visited the Earth and that the government might be withholding it. They all seem to be secondhand, or they seem to be sightings of things that they've seen in orbit that, perhaps, they couldn't explain at the time. And that's where the story seems to peter out." Wow. So not only is he now speaking for other astronauts, but he's now claiming that all of these other astronauts who have also been in space and who have admitted to seeing these sightings of unidentified objects were all mistaken and were apparently too dumb to know what they were looking at. And, thank God that we have a man like Tom Jones who can really come out and correct all of these other astronauts and clear up all of this UFO business once and for all. But, it's just, this guy seems very shilly to me. The fact that he is, and he's also basically said that UFO researchers are nothing but a bunch of kids and conspiracy theorists who are doing nothing but wasting their time, and who could be putting that time into learning about real things happening in space. Well, again, thank you, Tom. Words of wisdom. But, it's articles like this and claims from astronauts like this guy that no astronaut, and remember, he's speaking for all of them, has ever been a witness to strange, unidentified activity happening in space, which is a bold-faced lie. I can think of at least 10 different sightings off the top of my head coming from Gemini astronauts, Apollo astronauts, both on their way to the moon as well as on the moon's surface, Russian cosmonauts, European Space Agency astronauts. I mean, it's pure nonsense. And so with new footage like this, yet another piece of footage showing objects moving in space, changing speed and velocity, acting just like a fighter jet would here on Earth, and you're gonna tell me that these astronauts haven't seen this stuff? Of course they've seen it. They see it all the time, but they're told not to speak about it. And it would seem that as this field of research has grown, they have had to dispatch people like Tom Jones to come out here and attempt to discredit the evidence and this research. And you know that you're at least doing something good when you've got people like Tom Jones out here begging people to believe that astronauts have never seen UFO activity while in space. Back to this footage here. It's an amazing find. Repost it on Twitter and Facebook, let your friends see it, and tell them, even your skeptic friends, to watch something like this and with a straight face tell you that something strange isn't going on outside of our planet. So with that, thank you all for stopping by today. I was really excited to feature this, and as always, continue sending me your footage and any clips you want me to look at, because that is what makes this channel run and operate. It's with the help of everyone here, and I just want to say this, and I don't think I say it enough, but I want to say thank you to all of you who have been so awesome to me over the years, who have been like family, and are dear friends of mine. You really are my second family, and I want to say thank you to everyone who has supported the channel. This little channel where we're just trying to do research, and it means a lot. So I love you guys. Thank you all, and stay tuned, because obviously I've got a lot more coming, and I'll see you back in just a bit. This piece of footage here, a specific piece of footage, is part of a bigger video, and it features various clips of the International Space Station, video footage captured from inside of the space station, various astronauts showing you how things work, where this female astronaut here, who by the way is Samantha Cristoforetti, who is an Italian European Space Agency astronaut, as she is sitting here by one of the space station windows, is undeniable. And when I say undeniable, I mean that in terms of our long-held beliefs that have been based on many pieces of evidence in the past that space is not only inhabited by our spacecraft, and when I say our spacecraft, I mean our space shuttles, the International Space Station, our satellites, and things like that. But for the first time, I do believe that we have some undeniable footage windows showing you how the screen works, how there's an outer screen, sort of like a door or a hatch, that you can open and close in order to block out the sunlight or just close the window. And so I was getting a ton of people saying, Tyler, there is a point in this video where moments after she opens up this window hatch, there are multiple UFOs that can be seen speeding by. So I said, okay, I'm going to take a closer look at this. I blew it up to full screen, made sure I was watching here. That will prove that there are unknown manned objects flying out there in space, maneuvering as if someone is piloting these objects. I'm not talking about ice crystals. I'm not talking about space debris. I'm not talking about any of the usual go-to excuses that are pointed out either by NASA or skeptics or people who just refuse to look at the evidence. So, well, I think it's safe to say that the footage that I'm going to show you here, in my mind at least, and I think it will be for you guys too,